Yes, people, welcome back to BBK Sports. Your eyes are not deceiving you. You are not being lied to. It is him. It is the real Shane Gooner. You know your channel is validated and verified when you get guest appearance from the man like Shane Gooner. What a lightning rod in these YouTube spaces. I'm so glad to have you, my bro. What you say?
Oh man, pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine. You know how much I love watching your show, and you know how much I love watching your channel, and it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to come on. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Absolute pleasure, man. So, Shane, let's get straight into it, man. Okay, so sign a goalkeeper, no problem, right?
Uh-huh.
Backup center back for Saliba from Spain, no problem. A backup number 6 to replace Jorginho to fill the Jorginho void, no problem. A reject from Chelsea or a failed Chelsea player in madueke, no problem. A striker that we need, a striker that wants us, big problem. Can't get him done. Can't get him signed. Anything else? Anything else to squeeze out of this Gyokeres deal? Because I've heard virtually agreed, closer than yesterday to close to finalizing. Like it's just mincing words at this point.
Mm.
What's going on?
For me, what's happening is all the players you mentioned were players Arteta wanted, and Gyokeres is a player he doesn't want. So the same effort's not being put into it. To the point where I still think it's done. I'm as confused as everybody else now. I had all my theories, but I'm sort of running out of superlatives now as to what the hell is going on. Because is it just because he doesn't want them? Are they still trying to play, hoping that Leipzig come back with their tail between their legs and say, "Look, we're sorry, we played hardball here. Take him." I don't know. I never know with this club. Because I can guarantee you, if it was an Arteta player that he wanted, it would have been done by now.
Yeah.
Arteta's delighted, doesn't have him on the plane, has an excuse now not to start him against United. And if any top gooners, whatever you want to call them, they call you crazy when you say things like that Arteta doesn't want this guy and that he'll do anything to not play him. They say, "Oh, you're crazy." Trust me, we're not. This guy is a narcissist. He's self-centered. Everything he does is built around himself. And yeah, I've said it for time. Don't be surprised if we do get Gyokeres that he doesn't start against United, because this manager does not want him now. His whole plans are gone up in the air to slow it down. This is the first player that I think that we have in the squad that would stand up to this manager, and he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. I get the feeling, I don't fully trust Gyokeres to the point where how many clubs he's had, the way he treated Lisbon, who had made him who he is. I think he's a great striker. I think he'll get goals, but yeah, he's definitely not an Arteta player. And for me, that's why this hasn't gone through as quickly as it should have.
Yeah, great point there. Great point. And preseason has started, right?
Yeah.
At some point during the preseason, you expect a manager to play his first team. Like, this is the team that I have in mind that I'm going to play on August 17th, my first team. The fact that Gyokeres is not on the plane tells me that he's not bothered about his first team striker. Because if you're going on preseason and you're going to go work on things, and this is what we're told about Arteta, right? That he is a genius and his system is so intricate and difficult to learn. So why isn't Gyokeres here learning the playbook? Because it's going to take him a while to learn this genius system that we play. The fact that he is not on the plane doing preseason with us backs up the exact thing you just said, that he really didn't want him, because you have to play your first team at least for a half. Maybe not the first preseason game against Milan, but maybe in the third or the fourth one. You have to play your first team to see how the team works as a unit, no?
Yeah, well, I think his first choice striker was on the plane. Havertz was on the plane. You know what I mean? Honestly, I do. I think his first choice striker was on the plane. So, but he'll find a way to keep Havertz in the team. I've said before, I would not be stunned if Gyokeres plays several games out the left. I would not be stunned if Gyokeres is on the bench for the first few games of the season. And it's thrown his plans into whack. He wanted madueke out the left. Now he's probably thinking, well, now I have to try and put gyokeres in out there. I don't know how I'm going to fit Havertz in. And the club know it too, because they keep releasing all this ridiculous PR about how bulked out Havertz is. So they're laying the groundwork. So they know. So it's been said. All of it is intricate, but it's obvious if you peel it back a little bit and you go into it when you're not blinded by Arteta. If you're not one of those that is blinded by him, you can see the holes in all the logic. You know, even the mainstream media refer to Eze as a left winger now. You know what I mean? They know what's coming. They know what's coming, so they refer to him as a left winger. They don't refer to him as someone who will challenge Odegaard. I saw Charlie Watts, that goon that brought out the book, the Arteta Revolution, and he was saying in the same sentence that this is a good thing. Madueke's here to challenge. He's here to challenge Saka. Finally, they have someone to challenge Saka. But in the same sentence, he said, but he'll never be able to replace Saka. He'll only play if Saka's injured or has a dramatic fall off in form. So you're basically admitting that no matter who we get, people are talking about squad depth now. And I always say, it doesn't matter. We've had it before and he still plays the same 11. It doesn't matter how many players we have. If Saka can walk, he starts. If Declan Rice can walk, he starts. If Gabriel can walk, he starts. And but he has squad depth now. It doesn't make a difference. He will change players over time, i.e. Zinchenko was pushed out, just the way Tierney was for Zinchenko. But they never have a chance of getting back in. So it's not squad depth, it's replacements all the time for his starting 11. And then it's not until a player drops with a grade 3 hamstring or an ACL that someone comes in for them. And then normally that player is pretty much gone when they get back anyway, unless it's like a Gabriel or a Saliba or someone like that. But again, you know, with this whole squad depth thing, to me, it's never made a difference. It's never made a difference what numbers we had. He's had the numbers like that before. Oh, but we got no injuries in 22-23, except for Saliba. Okay, but the injuries last season are all a carryover from the previous two, where he just got lucky. Oh, and now he's doing press conferences now saying, "Oh, we need to get a fully fit Calafiori because he got injured twice away on international duty." And then if that wasn't enough for him to land it, he said, "With Italy, like we didn't know who he plays for." So he's already this will be his new spiel now this season. He'll refer to any of the players that are injured on international duty. He'll mention it several times to make out he knows that people are onto him about injuries. So he's already started deflecting it.
Yeah, it's a mad one, Shane. And with the gyokeres deal, like you're convinced that it will get done at some point, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
And I kind of lead towards that too, because surely he's had to get reassurances from Arsenal to pretty much, for all intents and purposes, quit his job at Lisbon, because he can't go back there. He cannot go back. Someone at the club has told him, no matter what it takes, we will get this deal done. That's why Arsenal are so comfortable in lagging and haggling over this 1.5 million, because someone else will come for him. They've had to. And if there is some way they find a way to make a mess of this, Arsenal Football Club would be so muddy, because they would have made themselves look bad, and they have pretty much would ruin the career of Gyokeres, because it's career suicide if you not turn up the training and then the club who was supposed to come in for you didn't come in for you. But when it does happen, and I think it will, I do believe that people will come over on this side and will be like, "See, we told you it would get done. We told you it would get done." And I think of that as something like this, right? Imagine a striker who hasn't scored a goal in like 20-something games, then finally scores a tap in, then runs around and cuffs his ear like this.
Yeah.
Like, were we meant to just sit here and sit on our hands and not have concerns about you going on preseason without the gaping hole in our squad? Or we're just meant not to say anything to hold the club to account? But speaking of holding the club to account, big up everyone in the chat. Make sure that you are hitting the likes. And I think everyone that I see in here is already subscribed to Shane Gooner anyway. But big up to you guys and thank you for watching. But Shane, did you catch the haters interview that came out of Singapore or any bits of it?
Yeah.
So we went from everything is done, we talked to who we need to talk to, I'm getting goosebumps, to we're short.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that no one in that press conference held him to account. But Mikel, on Super Sunday on May 23rd at St. Mary's when we played Southampton, you said everything was done and you're getting goosebumps to where's the gap that we went from that to we're short? Like, who is there to hold this dude accountable? How are we short? And he's saying that there is lots of time left in the transfer window. Bro, I don't want to hear anything about September 1st. August 17th is your start date, right? By the time the transfer window closes, we could be miles off of it. And the transfer window closed on September 1st. We go to Anfield the day before. We
Mm-hmm.
need players in. Like, how is he coming out and saying we're short when he said everything was done?
There's a lot to read into this. Number one, with the people that will say, yeah, hold that. I told you we get him. Hold that. We've said multiple times that we think we'll get Gyokeres. We're just annoyed with how long it's taken. With the fact that we will point out the fact that Arteta doesn't want them. They don't want to hear anything like that. They just think it's a computer game. You buy this player, put him in, and he transfers all the goals he got for Lisbon over to us. But when you look at the thing, we were told by these guys that relax. It's the 1st of July. That's when all the players come in. Relax, wait till the plane flies out to Singapore. They'll have all the players then. Now it's relax. The transfer window doesn't close until, it's always something that just relax. I don't live in that world, mate. When I see something wrong, like yourself, I call it out and I say, this isn't good enough. I can't live in this world. And they're just waiting to say, hold that. I told you we'd get him. Hold that. Oh, I said we'd get him. And his views always points out, and I pointed out myself, these guys that wanted Gyokeres, they should count their lucky stars that Leipzig played hardball, because we'd have Sesko if he didn't. And he'd be in the door, by the way. He'd be in the door already because Arteta wanted him. But Arteta in that press conference is the same old jargon. Nobody presses him. I did hope that they would over there, because it's not an Arsenal press conference, but they're the same journals that have flown over. They're all his usual fanboys. Exactly. They're all the same ones, the plants. Now, I was glad when someone did push him on the party thing. They asked him a second time, or let me word it differently. Did the club do everything right? And he said 100%. And I went, good. Now, that's receipt kept, because we know the club bailed this guy out 7 times and all that. We'll cover that different time. But everything with him is the same in the press conference. It's all smoke and mirrors. Well, he thinks it is, but it's just pathetic, really. You listen to him and you just go, this is just pathetic. It's the same excuses. We have the players, we do this. And do you know what? The thing with we're short, right? What really gets to me about that is how are we short of players after signing basically 5 players so far, right? How can a big club be short after signing 5 players? Because this is because of 6 years of your negligence that we are short. That we had the shortest squad in the league last season. We then lost Tommy Asu on a free. Ripped up his contract. We lost Partey. We lost Tierney. We lost Jorginho. Sterling went back. Neto went back. So we already had the smallest squad in the league. So we haven't even replaced these players. So this whole thing of, we're short. What I'd be asking them is, well, how have you let it get to this point after 6 years of being in charge? How have you left the squad so short? How are all these players leaving on a free? Why can't you get any money for the players you have? And you still have to sell players. So the reason you are short, he is like a child. How is he so spoiled that he's going to say to the board, look, I've ruined it all again. I've absolutely depleted. All the players are gone. I've got no players left. Just buy me a load of new ones. Just like that. Just buy me a load of them. Buy me a load of new players. He doesn't get questioned. This is their money. Why aren't they coming to him and going, oh, what do you mean you need 7, 8 new players? You're meant to have a squad of, what's going on here? Oh, well, he didn't work out, and he didn't work out, and he didn't work out, and he didn't. You signed all of these players. Yeah. Nobody questions him in this. Oh, he's a genius. His talent ID. I've never seen a club being run so poorly, yet someone sit there so smug and so arrogant, and everybody believe him. It is like it really is a cult leader. He's sitting there talking absolute dribble, and everybody is eating it up. Everybody's eating it up, and all the top gooners is the best transfer window. How he's so cynical, how he's so negative, and then you lay out facts like that, and they go, "Oh well, Madueke is a replacement for Sterling, so that's an upgrade, and Norgard is a replacement for Jorginho, and that's an upgrade." No, it's number one, they're not, and number two, they're not upgrades for them. Madueke's coming in; he's meant to be an upgrade for the left wing, and why are we only signing upgrades for backups that couldn't get in the team? The mentality is it's completely gone, and it's all going to unfold next season. It's all going to come apart next season.
Yeah, him asking to buy a load of new players would have been fine if he had one with the players that he bought. Like if we were a 2-time Premier League champion 2 of the past 3 years, then that would have been okay. But the fact that you're asking for all this after you have won nothing is concerning. But speaking of the transfers and the this and the that, what do you rate the transfer window so far? Because there's a lot of discourse over this transfer window. Because I give it a 3.
It's a tough one. I can't really judge it until I see the wages. I need to see the wages. I need to see what these players are on. I need to see if Berta is falling into the old Arsenal trap of just giving these players massive money to come in, and people wonder why. And then you tell the top gooners why. You say, well, players need convincing to play under this man. Oh, well, it can't be that. Well, it is. That's what it is. They need convincing to play under this man. So they'll only come for big money. No, it must be something else. No, trust me, that's what it is. But until I see the wages and until I see them settle, of course, I'll give a rating at the, I think, yeah, even with gyokeres, it's a 3 or 3 maybe. But the point is that we shouldn't be in this position. We shouldn't need to sign more than 2 players in a transfer window ever. You should never need to sign more than 2 players in a transfer window. We are having to replace. We're having to sign 6 players to bring us up to having the smallest squad in the league. 6 players to just meet the criteria of having the smallest squad in the league. That's before we start catching up to the other teams, the amount of players. Oh, but Chelsea have the squad's too big. And I don't want to hear about that. I don't. What the fact that these fans have to keep trying to mud other teams. And I always say on my stream, if you are in the position where all you have is to try and bring down the teams around you, then subconsciously your team's in bits because you're trying to bring the level down. Liverpool fans don't have to mud anybody else. They just say, well, we're league champions. Or they say, we signed Bert. So they have things to brag about. We're trying to find any little pebble we can to run with and say, oh, well, madueke, if you look at this particular stat, is up there with Salah, and you just stop it. Just stop now. I mean, I'm not a child. You can't convince me of this stuff. You know what I mean? We're seeing pictures of a jersey being held up and they show the hands and they're saying, oh, look, that's Gyokeres' hands. That's what I saw. Man, this is what we are dealing with. It's absolute insanity. And our fan base is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. You know what I mean? And sadly, it's about 90%. Like we are, as the view says, we are the cult. We call them the cult. We're the cult because we're the minority.
It's criminal. The thing is, the reason why I give it a 3, Shane, is because I have like 3 categories that I rate a transfer window, right? I have depth, replacements, additions. I don't think we've signed any additions because as of today, July 21st, Gyokeres is not an Arsenal player. So he would be the only addition. Zubimendi's in the replacement for number 5. Yeah. Norgard, backup. Madueke, backup to me. Kepa, backup. So all you've done is sign a bunch of backups. Doesn't move the needle for me. While Liverpool have made additions to their squad. How are Liverpool meant to be linked to Ekitike after us, and he's going to hold up the shirt before Gyokeres comes to Arsenal? And they have a Golden Boot winner in their squad. Ballon d'Or contender and a team full of champions. They are strengthening from a position of strength. And as of today, I think the team is weaker than it was last year. I really do. I really do. And the point that you made there about Chelsea, that they were trying to mud Chelsea and trying to drag Chelsea down. Well, you remember when we didn't win the league and the excuse was we have the youngest squad in the league? You remember that excuse? Well, Chelsea just won 2 trophies with the youngest squad in the league.
Yeah.
So if we take a time capsule, we can debunk all the stuff that they're throwing in our faces now, trying to mud Chelsea. No, they have won 2 trophies with the youngest squad in the league while buying well. They're offloading their trash to us. I've seen Chelsea sign a player from Brazil. He's in Brazil on the beach. They sign him. They fly him to these United States, sign him, play him in a semifinal. He scores 2 goals, send him to a final, scores it, score in the final. All that before we were able to get our striker over the line. So we can't mud Chelsea. We can't even talk to Chelsea right now. Big up to Why Not. He says 1,000%. 900 million is crazy in a squad full of squad fillers. Absolute criminal. But the Southern Goon has been saying it for time. The money alone spent, and based on where we are, is absolute criminal. Absolute criminal. Do you think the fan base have kind of like a inferiority complex where we think that competing is good enough? When we ask to win, but we're competing. What more you want? Like, do we think that we're little Arsenal, we're not meant to win because it's big bad City and it's big bad Liverpool? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that this is possibly, it's up there with one of the things they say that infuriates me the most. We're competing because technically any competition you enter, you're competing in. You know what I mean? Technically, any competition you enter, you're competing in it. And we're not competing because you would win it once or twice if you were competing. It used to bother me as well with Liverpool fans when they used to say that the Man City Liverpool rivalry, right? And I used to say, well, no, if City have won 6 of the 7 leagues, that's not a rivalry. You know what I mean? That's domination. Right? And I used to say that is domination. Now, Liverpool fans could say it differently now because they've won again. But that used to annoy me. And they say, no, it was a rivalry. We were back and forth. But you said you weren't back and forth. It was back once and then forth the whole other time. They just dominated. Yes, they were a great team. And yes, you came close. But it wasn't good enough. So I hold my own team to the same standards. This competing thing, it's a myth, by the way, because At no point, even in the 22-23 when we were 8 points clear, was everybody convinced that we were going to win something. Everybody knew there was a massive chance that we would blow it. It was a massive chance we wouldn't get over the line. The season before last, when we finished 2 points behind them, I never thought we were going to win it that year. Never. I never thought we were going to win it that year because we were so cautious all the time. When we drew 0 all at the Etihad, we should have taken them to the sword, and we didn't. And it was just yet another reason why this manager can't get over the line. This thing of us just competing has been built from Arteta started it. He spent the first 2 or 3 years constantly referring to how bad things were. Not in those terms, but he'd say it's subtext, how bad things were. We're trying to fix it. He came straight in with the process. He came straight in with progress. He came straight in with all these terms that gave him so much time. And he bought so much time to the point where, because then he spreads it out, and all his sort of, as we call them, the hope dealers, the main ones, the AFTVs, the Tom Cantons, the Semus, they all repeat what he says. They spread this as Norms calls it, the culture of mediocrity, and that is what has been built around us now. That even Gary Neville and all these guys that played against great Arsenal teams, that grew up when Arsenal were winning leagues, that played against Arsenal that wins leagues, they talk about us that way now. And I don't even know they realise they're doing it. They talk about us like they should be grateful that they're in second. They should be grateful for this, grateful for that. And to have said that years ago, when Arsene Wenger had gone 8-9 years without winning anything, it was constantly thrown in his face. Arsenal shouldn't go this long without winning things. Arsenal shouldn't go this long without winning things. It was repeated over and over again. Now it's celebrated. So Arteta started it. He started it and he spread it. And all these people are out there telling everybody that will listen that we're ungrateful for wanting this and wanting that. And they don't want to see what's coming because they sit there and they say, hold that. And they talk about how great we're going to be next season. They don't. It's like they don't look at anything past face value. They don't look at the fact that the injuries we had are going to be worse. They don't look at the fact that the wage budget's still in bits. They don't look at the fact that Saliba clearly doesn't want to be here. They don't look at the fact that this guy plans on playing madueke out the left. They don't look at any of this stuff. They just go, okay, well, when I was playing FIFA, I signed Zubamendi and he was brilliant, and I signed Gyokeres and his pace is 92 and all that. And they're grown men say these things. I've said it before on my stream. I saw a grown man in my age, in his 40s, say, I don't want Gyokeres because he'll take penalties and that will make Saka's numbers drop. A grown man was talking that way about Arsenal. So, yeah, this culture of mediocrity has been built from Arteta up. He's planted the seed and he is pulling all the strings, man, because he knows what to say in press conferences. The PR machine gets behind it. And then we have, without a doubt, the highest number by a country mile of, be it top Reds, top Blues, whatever, from any other club that have these channels. We have the highest number of these guys who have millions of followers who all believe what they say. And they just go out and spread his word. And it really is a cult. It's a cult. And you're right when you say that. We have been just turned into this team where competing. Oh, we should be glad to be competing. We're not competing. Because if we were competing, you don't lose 19 competitions in a row. You're not competing. If you lose 19 competitions in a row, you're not competing. If you were playing someone in a game of pool and you said, we'll play first to 19, and you won 19 frames in a row, and they lost every one of them, that's not competing. They go, oh, well, I got down to the 9 ball, and then I missed that one, and then one frame, and another frame, then I was very close, and it doesn't matter. You got absolutely whitewashed. You got absolutely crushed. And these fans are out there saying, we're competing. We're not competing. And next season, we're going to be even further off the pace. But will it be enough to get him sacked? I don't know.
Yeah, the top Reds, top Booners, like this year, I knew they were bad, but this year 2025, they went to a new low from your new high, however you look at it.
Yeah.
One of the times when I really started to get really angry with them, because I just used to brush them off to the side. Okay, they're just looking.
Yeah, it's hard.
But when I saw them go after Thierry Henry, I was like, okay. Like Babs is a young guy, right? I'm sure he's probably in his mid-20s, yeah? Probably mid-20s. So let's be generous and say he's 26. If he's 26, that means he was born in 1999. So he really didn't see TT play. He didn't see this guy in 2006 turn up to the Bernabeu with the real Galacticos.
He sees the statue, though. He sees the statue, mate. You know what I mean? He knows full well.
Yeah, with all the respect to Jude Bellingham and all these men, that was the real Galactico. Beckham was in that team. Roberto Carlos, the real R9. These men were in that team, and Thierry went there and bossed them. So when I see these men went after, and this year again, when I see them turned on Ethan, They turned on Ethan when the story broke. He was asking for more.
AFTV did that.
I was like, oh my days. Oh my God.
AFTV did that.
They are more dangerous than I thought. Absolutely more dangerous than I thought. And the whole Saka thing with the penalties. Imagine Liverpool fans say, yeah, I don't want Isak because it's going to make Salah penalty numbers drop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is where we are. This is, but but Shay, do you think he lasts before or after Christmas?
I don't know. I have periods where I think he'll be gone because I think we're going to be well out of the league well before Christmas. I think we're going to be far, far, far down. But then I was thinking about it today. Someone asked me actually on my stream, and I was thinking, well, Champions League, because the league phase is so long that he could still be in. He would still be in that technically right up until what, January, February. You know what I mean? The cups, the FA Cup doesn't start till the new year, so he'll still be in competitions. My biggest fear is that he scrapes fourth and they keep him on again. That's my biggest fear. But after this summer, the pressure has to be on him. And I've said this before, that it'll happen quickly. When he does go, it'll happen quickly, as in there'll be sort of no rumours that he's in trouble. We'll all be calling for it because we'll be in sixth place or something, say, after 10 games, and we'll be calling for his head. The others will still be putting up from it's early in the season and all that. And then one rumour will start, i.e. Sky will say, oh, apparently someone isn't happy with him. And in about 3 days, it'll be done. It'll be one of those, it'll happen quick, right? But I could, like, we sat down, Taron, about a month ago, and we went through 10 reasons why he should have been sacked. And we could have done 100. Easily could have done 100. We could have done 100 easy, right? Easy. So we were talking through that stream and we were saying, I don't know what can happen to turn this. Like, I don't know what's left for him to do wrong. Like, you look at that, when I mentioned the AFTV thing about them turning on Ethan, that was that they did that. They brought out and they had this post of Robbie saying, he's just 18. How dare he ask for this time? And how dare he ask for this, right? And just a side story on that, my missus, who used to be a top gooner, she's a big Arsenal fan. She's not anymore. She actually despises Arteta and all now. She did turn. But she was talking to a guy in work who she said about, I think that Ethan should go out and go on loan and get some football, get away from this manager. And he said word for word what was in that post. Literally the 3 sentences in a row, he said. And she said she was talking to me. She said, I couldn't believe it. He was literally saying what I said. I've told you, this is what they do. They brainwashed them. Like he said word for word what AFTV had told him. Now, you said it was like a horror movie or something where you realize that the invasion of the body snatchers. You know what I mean? Where you realize that they've been taken. And but this is the thing. Like, I could see him several different. It depends on how the season goes. I think we'll lose the top 6 unbeaten thing by the 3rd game. I think Liverpool will definitely beat us at Anfield. Beat us at Anfield. And I have a sneaky feeling United might get something out of us on the first game. Ooh. But once the top gooners lose their top 6 thing, they're going to start running out. They're already laying the groundwork for players need time to settle. They're already laying the groundwork, I'm sure, in their head for if Gyokeres doesn't fail. Well, he didn't get him his striker. He wanted Sesko. If he had got him, he suits the system. And I'm sure they're getting, well, we need a lot of new signings, or the Thomas Partey thing distracted them, or they'll have all these things lined up. But if it's a proper disaster, and I'm talking losing 6 out of the first 10 games, which I don't see it being that drastic, I think it needs to be something like that for him to be gone by Christmas. But other things come into play. If we go 7 points off the league after, say, 10 games, right, off the top, and City and Liverpool are gone, and everybody knows we ain't catching them. It just takes a Saliba or something to do an interview, not just a Timber interview that can be swept under the carpet, but a proper L'Equipe interview or something like that, and say, oh, the dressing room he's losing the dressing room or something like that, and then it'll snowball. But I really, you know my stance, and I really need him gone. Like he's taken away my hope, and that's never happened to me before. You know what I mean? He's taken away my hope, and that has never happened to me before. And I need him gone. But the sooner the better. But God forbid he's here next summer and we're going through this whole thing again. But I'd be 50-50 that could easily happen. I could see us sitting here this time next year having the same conversation. And that's my biggest fear.
The only hope that I have, like, my hope isn't completely gone. The only silver lining in this cloud going into this season is either next year, 26-27, we'll have a new manager, or this season we would have won a trophy. Both of those things cannot happen. It one or the other. Like there is no way he can go trophyless and we keep him. I actually think that at slow starts, but by the second international break with a slow start, he's in trouble. Because like you just pointed out, we can't catch Liverpool. We cannot go into match week 29 hoping Liverpool drop points away at Fulham. It'll be no. If Liverpool needed to win their final 5 games, it wouldn't have been a 10-point gap. They would have did Liverpool thing.
20 odd points. Yeah, people don't seem to realize that.
Yeah, because I've seen the man title on the line at Anfield against Tottenham. They go down 1-0. Every Arsenal fan is like, oh, the game ends 5-1. That's what they do. You know, they don't play that. But Yasser said he's taking 10 defenders to preseason, by the way. Big up to Views, big up to Yasser, big up to everyone in the chat. Shane, are we sure that Pep taught this man anything? Because I didn't see Pep stockpile defenders this way. And Pep only played without a striker once. He had Aguero at City. And then that one year when Aguero was out of form, injured, he played Jesus, then he rotated to the false 9 and he won the league. But other than that, he's had Aguero or he's had Haaland. So if Pep taught him anything, how does he go 8 transfer windows without signing the striker? I'm not sure Pep taught this man anything or taught him enough.
I don't think you can teach a narcissist anything. I don't think they'll pretend to take it on board, or they'll take maybe 1 or 2 things that they believe they can twist. You see it with him, like even to go back to Gyokeres, if we get him, he won't just put him in the team and say go do what you do. He'll have to change his game some way. He'll have to get him to score more headers than he scored the previous season. So you can say, look what I did. Or you'll have to turn him into a false 9, or you'll have to make him drop out the left. He'll have to do something with him that makes him look like a genius. If you look at our team, there's only about 2 players, and I don't include centre-backs, so centre-backs are centre-backs, that play in their natural position. You know what I mean? Timber, fair enough. Is he a right-back? Is he a left-back? He's played both, probably equal his whole career. He's played centre-back a bit. But you look at Skelly, he's not a left-back, he's a midfielder. Calafiori's a centre-back that plays left-back. Declan Rice is a 6 that plays in the 8. Martinelli's a striker that plays out the wing. You know what I mean? Havertz plays up front, he's meant to be a midfielder. Marino plays up front, he's meant to be... He has to change it just a little bit so he leaves his mark on it. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like someone, like a dog having to piss on something to say, look, I own that now. He has to put something on it to say, this is mine, I did this, and now go do your thing, so he can take credit for it. So I don't think he learned anything, because I think he's too arrogant to believe that anyone has anything to teach him. I really do. I think in his own mind he thinks, well, what can he teach me? I'm Mikel Arteta. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if he does refer to himself in the third person at times. You know what I mean? Honestly, because he lives in this world where I've said it before, he's the only manager, I think, in history who enjoys press conferences. Every other manager says they hate them. It's the most tedious part of the job. He loves them. He loves them. He loves all those microphones and all those cameras on him. He loves all the questions being directed at him. And and I've said it before, I think a lot of the reason we dropped the out of the Champions League spots that season, 21-22, was because that documentary was being done and the cameras were there all the time, and he was going home not thinking about the team. He was going home thinking about what gimmick can I do tomorrow to look really creative. That was on his mind all the time. So he came up with light bulbs and lemons and speakers. And that's what he was thinking about. He wasn't thinking about the team. He dropped the ball thinking about how can I look great on camera. You know what I mean? So this guy, I don't think he can learn off anyone, because he just refuses to, because he doesn't believe that anybody is on his level.
Yeah. Big up to the Phoenix Alpha 6 says, we're not competing. We're sleepwalking into oblivion next season with Arteta and Mick Ultra Broadcasting, a.k.a. AFTV. Facts. Big ups to Mr. Batter. I see you, man. Big up to Dana as well. Dana says, winning is not a divine right, but what others do is give themselves the best chance of winning in the transfer window. Facts. That's all we're asking for. That's all we're asking for. You go to preseason and you play your first team so they know Zubimendi is meant to be this deep line playmaker. He needs to know how Gyokeres likes the ball. He needs to know his strengths and his weaknesses. Does he like a 1-2? Does he like the ball over his left shoulder, right shoulder? How does he move? Does he cut in or does he go straight? Do I need to play the ball early? Can I take a second touch? All that stuff comes with time in this complex system that we've been told that Mikel Arteta plays. The system is so complex, he can't trust the players to do it. That's why he's on the sidelines landing airplanes for 90 minutes, because it's so complex. You have to tell them where to be. So Gyokeres needs to be here. That's what we're asking for. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we're crazy for asking for that. But Shane, let's move it away from that for a little bit. Let's say Gyokeres gets over the line. Is that it? Are we going for Eze in our next drawn out transfer saga? Because we can't even get this guy over the line, and he wants to come to us. Eze is openly open to come to Arsenal, but he hasn't not turned up to training with Crystal Palace, and they have to play in the Community Shield a week before the season starts. So we must get this deal done. You think we have any chance of landing Eze?
The left winger, Eze. Yeah. No, I if we are to get him, I think we have to sell minimum three players, I think, and even then we'll start haggling, and that'll be a deadline day signing if we get it. Why we didn't get Eze first and then deadline day madueke, you'd have to ask Super Duper Mick. But I've always been on the fence if we get Eze or not. And the more I see the rumors dying straight after madueke, by the way, the rumors died a death. I thought, nah, we're after blowing our money on the one that Mikel wanted because he wants to play him at the left. And I think that Berta has said to him, he said, I wanted Eze and I want madueke because I want to play madueke out the left and I want to play Eze as cover out the left or whatever way he was doing it. And I think Berta's gone, well, you're getting one of them. You're not getting two fucking players to play out the left wing. You already have Martinelli and you already have Trossard and we haven't got rid of these players. Yeah. So I don't know if he said you can only have one and then he said, right, give me madueke. Eze will be a bit more of an issue because people will wonder why he's not challenging Odegaard. But this is the thing, the media aren't even talking about, if we get Eze, if he challenged for Odegaard, because they just know. They know without saying that this guy walks on water with this manager. So with Eze, I think that the only way we'll get him will be right at the end. I wouldn't even be shocked if he plays in the Community Shield and comes 10 after. But if we do get him, it would have to be Trossard gone. It would have to be Zinchenko gone. It would have to be maybe even Martinelli. And then if that was the case and Martinelli went on Trossard and he was thinking, right, I have Eze and madueke for the left, you're looking at loads of new players that have to bed in. The odds of them, we've worked it out before that out of the 30 odd signings that Mikel Arteta has made, 4 to at a push 5 have worked out, and these are the really expensive ones, by the way, the Declan Rice and the Timbers and the like. So 4 to 5, maybe 6 at a push have worked out, but it does work out at about 1 in 6 of being good, and the other 5 haven't just been bad; they've been awful, right? Awful. So what are the odds that of all the players he wanted this summer, that all of them work out? If you're a gambling man, it's not going to happen. It just won't happen. You'd be lucky if 2 of them work out. But Zubimendi, perfect. They said this about every single player we've signed. The top gooners will say, this guy's going to be great. This is what we needed. This is going to fix us. Oh, look at Calafiore's debut. Look at this tackle. Like, they keep showing the same tackle where he got cut out. And I was looking at him going, well, he got cut out. That's why he had to do this last-ditch sliding tackle. He got cut out. You know what I mean? Looking at the wrong thing. But this is... They'll big up any player we get, and they'll already have songs. They'll already have all the grown men will have the jerseys with Zubi on the back, and they'll have the jerseys with Nani on the back because I'm going to show my support because Nani took abuse, and now I'm going to show that I'm a Nani fan. And they'll have bandanas and they'll have all this stuff. And within a year, they'll be saying, "Oh well, Arteta needs to sign whoever it will be this summer, next summer. They need to sign." He needs to sign Semenyo. He's always wanted Semenyo. He needs him to replace madueke because madueke can't cut it. A year ago, you were telling me this guy's going to change the game. You know what I mean? So this sort of idea that because he has all these fans on his side, but the thing is, you can look at that squad and you just go, even if he gets everyone he wants, and I put the team up and I said, right, to people in my chat, I said, even without injuries, without suspensions, that team isn't catching Liverpool and City. It's just not. It's not good enough. You know what I mean? It's not good enough. And this is if he gets everybody and there's no injuries and everybody hits the ground running. This is a fantasy world. This is a computer game world. When you add in suspensions, injuries, drops in form, players falling out with him, we're looking at games where Norgard will start at right back. You know what I mean? Like this is how bad things will get. But he's got a long throw, so we should be okay. He's got a long throw.
Yeah. I don't think, if we don't get Eze and another upgrade on the left wing, we might as well sack him now and see if we can, because we're nowhere near it with these players, just like you said, right? No. And if I have to rely on his cup record to get a silverware next season, then we're fucked, because his cup record is worse. He's been closer to the Premier League than he has been to the cups. So if we're dependent on Arteta, because I had a discussion with another content creator named Gunner Street, and I'm like, okay, if we start slow, should we sack him? He said, no, let's keep him until we're out of all the competitions. I'm like, no, that's the wrong approach, in my opinion.
That's nearly the end of the season.
Sack him early because his league form is way
Yeah.
off. Then you give ourselves a chance to win one of the cups. Because we've seen Oliver Glasgow win the cups. We've seen Eddie Howe win the cups. So give another manager a chance to salvage our season. We're getting one of the cups. Big up Dre says, that's true, Shane. Arteta has done so much. I don't know what's a sackable offense no more.
Yeah.
I thought it was after the Europa defeats that about 5th place to top 4. Hey, that was 5 in just that one season, Dre. And in that one season, he committed 5 sackable offenses. But, I had looked at the gyokeres deal as complete, and we're going to move on to Eze with the Rodrigo deal as the pipe dream. Now, I'm hoping we get the gyokeres deal over the line, and now the Eze deal becomes the pipe dream because the Rodrigo thing, dead. Like, I pretty much have accepted that, yeah, madueke is our Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to be. Narcissists do not learn because the Chelsea manager was also under Pep, but definitely listen. All that does is pot up. Nothing else. Yeah, facts. Yep. Why not say, oh God, I have a screenshot of Arteta press conference saying Moyes was his managerial inspiration when asked where his influence is from. I don't know. Maybe he's just sucking up to Everton fans, because that's really where he belongs. Arteta didn't become a paid employee of Arsenal until 2011. So I got 20 years on him because I've been invested in this club since 1991. So I will lose no sleep whenever he goes. None. Big up to Mr. Bat. I think you get gyokeres eventually, in all caps. Hypothetical question. What if you don't? Shane, what is the contingent? Well, I think he knows, right? It's King Kai. That's his boy.
Yeah, that's who he wants. That would be his dream. That would be his dream. He would have wanted Sesko. He definitely wanted Sesko, but he would prefer, if he can't get Sesko, I'm telling you, this man would prefer to go in without anybody, with Kai Havertz, Marino, and Jesus. He would prefer that than to get gyokeres or to get Ollie Watkins. If it did fall through, we'd go back in for Sesko, and then if that fell through, I could see Dominic Calvert-Lewin rocking up, or I could see Ollie Watkins. I could see someone like that. But I do think it will go through. But if it doesn't, the things have gone sour like this before. They'll say something to piss him off, or he'll come out and say, "Do you know what? United are in. They want me. You clearly don't want me." He could be an egomaniac like that. And say, "Well, United are making big moves now. They want me, and I know Amarin, and he's promised me I'll take the penalties and I'll start every game and all that sort of stuff." It could go wrong. We just move on to Sesko, and then the Arteta fans would say, "Oh, it was always a smokescreen to get Sesko price dropped." But I think we go straight back in for Sesko, and then I think that when that falls through, then it would end up being a Calvert-Lewin or someone like that would come in, and they'd say, "Oh, we go in with what we have," and he'd say, internal solutions, and they'd say, "How can you go into the season without a striker?" And he'd go, "Guys, we have 3 strikers, guys. What are you saying, guys? We have Jesus, guys. We have Havertz, guys. We have Marino, guys." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big up Dana again. Dana said, I disagree that we didn't learn anything. We didn't play in 2023 and at the tail end of 24. Coincidence. My problem is we regressed, but the brand of football played a lack of confidence in the domestic up. So here's my problem with that, Dana, is we came up 2 points short in the 2023/2024 season. And Mikel, with his conventional wisdom, and Edu, they sat in a boardroom together, and they thought at the time to bridge the gap on that 24 season on Man City was to sign Calafiori and Moreno. Those were the only signings because they told us they had no plans to sign Sterling. It was a deadline day opportunity. So they thought a defensive midfielder and a luxury left back / right back hybrid was enough to bridge the gap of Man City. And how did that play out? So we don't learn that it was clear that what we needed was more goals. We drew 14 games. That tells me that we only scored like 6 to 9 goals that last season. And the season before that, we had a goal difference of plus 62. That is a epic fall off. And when the entire team regresses as a unit, I can only point that down to one thing, the manager. But if we don't get Eze, so the question that Mr. Batter asks is, no, gyokeres is going to resort to Kai and we can DCL or Ali Watkins. If we don't get Eze, any recourse, any other creative spark out there that you like in the midfield, like a Justin Kluivert or some other Premier League proven player that Mikel might need, because we cannot have Odegaard as our only creative outlet yet. He had 3 Premier League goals last year, 3 as the starting 10 for Arsenal Football Club. Unacceptable.
Yeah, well, but for me, again, I've said it before, I came in as manager of Arsenal today. The first thing I do is get Wanyeri in my office and say, I'm building a team around you next season. But we know that's not going to happen because If Ranieri was playing for another team, all these Arsenal fans will be saying, we need to sign him to challenge Odegaard. We need to sign this kid to challenge Odegaard. We already have him. He just doesn't trust him. So if we got a new manager in tomorrow, I've said this before, we would suddenly have, if we got in a Hansi Flick or a Luis Enrique or a manager, just a manager knew what he was doing, right? We would suddenly have a stacked midfield because he'd be going, okay, well, I have Rice, I have Odegaard, I have Zubimendi, I have Zinchenko plays in the 10 for his country. And wait a minute, I have two of the best young midfielders in the country in Lewis Skelly and Ranieri. I'm stacked here in midfield. I have, well, Marino can get out, you know what I mean? And Norgard, I suppose he can cover. But you'd suddenly look like you have loads of midfielders. But because this guy refuses to admit that Lewis Skelly's a midfielder, because he's going to get found out next season as left back, and I feel for the kid. But for signing someone else, for me, it was Eze from the start, and I wanted Cunha. I thought Cunha would have been perfect for us. For a good manager, you have to look at it under a good manager. I thought Cunha would have been, again, he can cover the left if he has to, but he would definitely challenge for the 10. But for me, it's sort of Eze or nothing, because the only problem is that we can talk about getting these attacking midfielders, but I mean, like we said, the press are already saying that, Eze, the left winger, he played 3 games there, by the way. You know what I mean? In the last 2 years, I think, as well. So, I mean, it's already known that even if we get Eze, he isn't here to challenge Odegaard. He's not here to challenge Odegaard. He's here to play out the left. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter who we get, because this guy will never drop him. I think the only person he'd drop him for in the 10 actually is Havertz. That's the only way he'd drop him, is to drop Havertz in, to keep Havertz in the team. If Gyokeres finally comes off the bench a couple of times and bangs in a load of goals and he has to play him, then I wouldn't be surprised if Odegaard suddenly gets the operation he needs.
Yeah, I hear it. And big up to Darren Martin. So the only place Eze can play is the 8 or the 10. Arteta filled the left wing spot with madueke, and we know he isn't mentioned Odegaard. That's fact. But here's the thing. I want to point out, Shane, I want to give you credit for this, because this is the point that you make, and it's not, I'm not going to let it die. I'm going to keep making a point here on this channel when I say this. And I always said, Shane said, when I repeat this point. He likes these project players, these maduekes, right? These Tescos and all this. That way, if he just happens to win with them, he looks like a complete genius, rather than players like a Rodrigo or a Gyokeres who would actually, or an Eze that would actually, okay, now you have everything you need. You have the best defense in the Premier League 2 years in a row. You have a 2-time Golden Glove winner. You have one of the top 5 left wingers in the world. Because if we get a Rodrigo, this is the first time in a very long time you can say Arsenal Football Club have 2 of the best wingers in the world playing in their starting 11. And you have a striker and you have a creative midfielder in Eze. What's your excuse now? He would be found out. So if he happens to win with none of that, then he looks like a complete genius, and it feeds into his ego, just like you said. So I'm going to keep hammering away at that.
That's fact. It's fact.
Yeah. Big up to Hendo. Said, why not? You will never get an apology from the mutant sexuals. They will blame everyone except for Arteta when the stars come. Yes. So the excuses are there. Now, the 2 excuses that I heard most of last season is, we never get battered by the top 6 anymore. His top 6 record is best amongst the other managers, and that we haven't conceded 3 goals in over like 2 years. I think the last time we conceded 3 goals in a game was I think it was against West Ham or Luton, like in the 2023 season. I think both those scenarios go away this season, and they will come up with something else. The goalpost will move somehow, where it's he didn't get his players in time. Okay, now whose fault is that? Everton wouldn't want Arteta anyway, Premiership club than a Sky Championship club. Yeah, facts, man. Let him go manage them, right? He's more of an Everton legend than he is. Leave the transfer of Calvert-Lewin alone, please. Don't put this, because I actually blame you. I'll blame you for putting that madueke in the atmosphere. Because you remember when you were reading, when you threw that out there initially, and then you started reading the article saying Arsenal link with in demand. I was like, okay, now it has legs. Once they're trying to brand him with the in demand thing, I was like, okay, this actually has legs. And when it made it to Sky Sports, I was like, okay, this is not going anywhere. But once we have to pause the stream, because we have Maybach music. I think I'm Big Meech. Larry. Maybach music. E-Ross is in the building. Hey, sir. We will pause right there and we'll wait for permission to continue the stream. We will pause right there until E-Ross gives us. E-Ross, the legend, has entered the chat. There you go. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. We shall continue the discussion. Big up to Scans TV. You have had the best defense for 3 leagues with nothing to show for it, Scans. Absolute nothing. I remember when Chelsea had the best record in the league in 05-06. They did a back-to-back. We have nothing to show for it. We don't get a trophy for that. That's what angers me. And this is the thing, people. I'm not mad at Arteta because I think the team is shit. I actually think the team is good enough to win something. That's why I'm upset at it. Because I think a new manager, the fresh set of eyes comes in, has no loyalties to Odegaard, has no loyalties to 29, and freshen up things. Play Ethan in the 10, play this, play attacking football. But Arteta, he's going to run it back with the same dead robotic football that we've seen for the past season. I thought Paulina Link was a joke until I saw it was fairly serious interest. Another CDM. Really? Paulina, the Fulham guy.
That he's at Bayern now. There's rumors of it, yeah.
Oh my days. I cannot.
He probably sees him as a 10. He probably play him in the 10 or something.
Has Arteta felt like he done pissed off too many people that he's gonna get
narcissism again? Keep doubling down.
Yeah.
Keep doubling down.
Yeah, because he knows Man City are coming for us next season because we embarrassed them last year with that 5-1. Is he trying to save face and play? I think Organ Gunnar said we're going to play an 8-1-1 formation because he done made so many enemies, especially in this press conference, trying to prop up Arsenal with put us in conversation we don't belong because we don't have the trophies yet, right? Big up to Dre. There it is, BBK, the only manager, because we're all aware the players ain't good enough. So who is getting the results out of them? Any team, it must be the coach. Yeah, must be the coach. Because no one can tell me that Leicester team was the best team in 2016. They weren't. It was just happens that one year we got them to play out their skin, and he got the best out of them. I don't think if you pick up Arteta and you drop him in the Portuguese league with Sporting Lisbon, he wins the league.
No.
I don't
think he has it in him. I don't think he has it in him with any club. Any club.
Benfica or any one of the big clubs. So when I hear people be like, okay, it's only the Portuguese league that Gyokeres is doing this. Okay, send Kai Havertz over there and see if he scores 39 goals. I promise you he won't. Because there is Bundesliga tax as well. And he never hit 20 goals a season in that Bundesliga as well. We had Timo Werner and Kunku and all these other men went over that German league and bang, they came to the Prem and couldn't do it. So we have very, very recent examples to support that argument. I was talking about the brand of football we played in those seasons, which comes from the manager, meaning he's learned a lot or two. That is, though, we've regressed in that. But that's the thing. I think the football in the first season was brilliant. The football
22-23 was fine. 23-24 was awful. And then everybody goes on about the purple patch we had in the second half of the season. Right. That was it. It was only that was about 12 games we played well. The rest of the season, we were absolutely awful that season. I remember against United at home early in the season. We won 3-1, but they were all over us. We played terrible football. The game when we beat City, terrible. We were terrible for the first half of that season. And the 22-23 season was the anomaly. The rest was terrible football. That was the anomaly. And he even tried to rein it in then near the end of the season when it started slipping away. That was I think that caught him by surprise. We caught everybody by surprise. 22-23. And then we lost to Everton 1-0. Sean Dyche's first game. And suddenly realised then that a low block does something. From then on, he's been struggling with it.
Yeah. And the thing is, the purple patch is when we got back from Dubai. And then they forget that the reason why we went to Dubai is because we got knocked out the FA Cup.
We're out of everything. Because we're out of everything.
That was the FA Cup weekend. We were in Dubai doing warm weather training when we should be playing football in the Emirates.
How did that work the second time, by the way?
Yeah.
How did the Dubai trip work last year? It was a freak. Something he just landed on his feet with, and he puts it down to him being a genius. How can a team go on a run like that and it be about him deciding to bring them on holiday? What the fuck is that? It's got nothing to do with it. No, it was just coincidence that we went on a run because we had less games than everybody else.
Yeah.
Of course, he takes credit for it.
Yeah. Dana says, does the order of the transfer matter to you guys if we end up with the players would you have signed anyway? It's not the order per se for me. It's the time. So if we had signed Madueke on June 1st and then signed Gyokeres on July 1st, the order wouldn't matter. It's the timing. The fact that Gyokeres isn't with the team training right now is what bothers me.
The order is important though as well.
It is important.
What if we miss out on Gyokeres because we paid so much face down for Madueke? Yeah. What if someone else comes in and nicks Gyokeres? You get the players that are in demand. You get them first. No one's going to come in for Norgard. You can leave that till the end. No one's going to. So you just leave it till the end. No one's going to come in for Kepa. Leave it till the end. Get in the play lead first. And if you don't, can't get Kepa, there's 101 Kepas out there. If you don't get Norgard, there's 101 Norgards out there. There's only one Gyokeres, mate. You know what I mean? So you have to get in early before anybody else. The order is massively important. It's massively. Look what's happening.
Absolutely. And what if Eze decides to sign a new deal with Crystal Palace with a release clause of 100 million tomorrow? Breaking news.
Yeah.
Now we can't afford him when the release clause was 61 million. Exactly. So yeah, it absolutely matters.
If you get a Gyokeres in early, and then you go for an Eze who is a bit on the fence about joining, and he goes, you know what, you're moving in the right direction. I see you've already got Gyokeres. Yeah, I will come. So it's massive. Yeah. For getting people to sign contracts, getting Saliba to sign a contract. Look at who he signed, mate. Come on.
And then there's the statement of intent, right? The message that it sends. Like when Liverpool went out there and broke the transfer record for Verts, and everyone had his
straight away. Yep.
You know, it's a massive. Now Isak, it has the fact that Liverpool are moving so seriously. When they make a bid for Isak, Eddie Howe has to send him home, right? Because he completely upsets the transfer market to the point where Eddie Howe doesn't feel like Isak is strong enough to deal with the distraction of transfer rumors, so he sends him home. If that was Arsenal linked to Isak would still be training right now. It would because no one takes us seriously. I mean, with the best defense, that they should give the team a freedom to attack. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I trust our fullbacks against the best in Europe. No one has cooked timber this year. No one. And you have to with the best center backs in the world. You put Declan Rice in front of him and you attack teams. Nah, bro. You score one goal and you sit back. Even the best defense in the world will make a mistake when you defend for 35, 45 minutes.
Yep, exactly. How many leads did we throw away last season doing that? And he never learned. We equaled the record.
Yeah. That Havertz purple patch was the worst thing that could have happened. The reason why we didn't sign a striker again. So here's the thing, Shane. So we played a behind the doors friendly against Watford, yeah? First I heard it was 3-0, then I heard it was 2-0. But I've heard it was Havertz and Benjamin White that scored.
Mm-hmm.
If Havertz keeps starting preseason games and starts scoring, even if we get Gyokeres and he has a 2 or 3 game preseason, if Havertz is in good form in preseason, Blunderman now has a case to start his guy, and that concerns me. On top of the narrative that I thought he was already going to do it, I actually wanted Gyokeres to come and give him a headache, give him a problem, force him to coach. Like, you are the second highest paid manager in the Premier League. I ask you to do your fucking job. You know, Ross, our government keeps giving money away to all the other countries. Why the fuck would we give it to an actual UK citizen?
That must be between them. That
was the argument. Big up to Man Like Views. We would never sign VPN, Maggie Eggebread, or Kepa in any multiverse. But someone at the club wanted this, Views. I don't know who, but someone at the club wanted this. This is why I question their judgment. Because if you are Mikel Arteta, I do believe you want to win. But if you want to win and you think madueke is the answer on your left wing, when I showed the graphic earlier, when he was 007, I question your judgment. I'm not going to just follow you blindly off of a cliff. I do not have to believe in Arteta to believe in the Arsenal. No other managers have 70% of the players that Arteta has signed. Yeah. And no other managers will shoehorn Kai Havertz in the midfield against Villa in a title run-in where we lose the game 2-0. That cost us the league when Thomas Partey was fit and on the bench. The Assemble, we dropped 28 points, which is 9 additional losses. Relegation form, man. When you put numbers, meaningful numbers to it, it paints a much different picture than the word salads and the narrative that they spin to prop him up like he is this great, wonderful manager, you know. Because people seem to forget that because we finished second, Arteta's been here challenging the whole time, and they forget the first 3 seasons that was absolute dross. Big up, Ray. That was tough in 23-24. We were balling after that Dubai trip and leave it to Arteta. See, I didn't even see this comment, Dre, and that's what I was just alluding to. But yeah, big up to you, man. He is just in those tight games, and I do believe as bad as United are, on August 17th, Ruben Amorim will give him a problem to solve. Can he solve it?
Yeah.
Do I trust him to solve it? Because United is out here drawing 0-0 with Leeds and looking dross, but Arsenal turn up, and we will make it difficult for ourselves. Mr. Batten, the order for the transfer also matters from a talent attraction perspective.
Exactly.
That you already know that what the glaring gaps in the squad are for us. Yeah, man, you have to absolutely do better, Arteta. What gives me hope is that the type of players we are signing, we can play the same as last season with Gyokeres and Eze.
Yeah, he will, trust me.
Such a big question mark over there. If we get them, otherwise we won't get the best out of them, period.
Arteta won't change his tactics for a player. Trust me, he will not change his tactics for a player. He will tell you, like with Gyokeres, I've said it before, when he's at Sporting, every player is in that team to feed him. When he makes this run, you play this ball. When he makes that run, you play it over the top. When he does this, you do that. It'll be the opposite when he comes to Arsenal. It'll be Arteta saying, right, Gyokeres, you make this run, you do this, you do that, you drop back. I want you to do this. You're not working back enough. Stop making that run. Stop doing this run. And his numbers are going to fall off a cliff. He'll still get more than Havertz. He'll still get more than we've had before from a forward player. But he will not get anywhere close to the numbers he got in Portugal. Not even close.
Yeah, I absolutely hear it, man. Big up to all. We got 40 people locked in the building. Absolute legends. Please hit the like button while you pop in and out the stream, man. It's not very often I get Brother Shane on here to do some Arsenal therapy, but I absolutely love it, man. We just hit over an hour, man. Shane has a busy day today, so you can tell the people where they can find you today, man. You're on Aaron, yeah?
Yeah, should be. I haven't heard from him. He's taking a bit of time away from YouTube. I presume it's on, though. But I'll give him a bell after. But yeah, if I'm not there, I will be back obviously tomorrow morning for the full Irish. And then tomorrow then at 4:30, I have the retro show with DJB. And then on Wednesday at 4:00, it'll be Clean Through 1-on-1 with the legend that is Views. But yeah, so on my main channel, catch me on my main channel for the full Irish tomorrow morning. But listen, Taryn, as always, absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Anytime you need me, if I'm free, I'm always free for you. I love coming on and having a bit of Arsenal therapy, like you said, because it's nice to talk with someone that, you know, like I like going on with Views and people like that, and you talk sense and you go, right, I'm not going mad. You know what I mean? But absolute pleasure coming on, mate. Absolute pleasure. And we have to do another 10 reasons why he should have been sacked.
We must. He's giving us that day by day, man. Bottom line is what it comes down to. It seems like we care about this club more than the club cares about us.
Yep.
I'm not very excited going into the season. Arsenal Football Club gave us PTSD all season long, and they're doing it in the transfer window. That makes sense. How do you give your fans PTSD with transfers? Absolute madness. But yes, people, we're gonna leave it there. Gotta let Shane go get his stuff together for he can massive stream. Make sure you got your notification bells on for Aaron Talks Arsenal so you can catch Shane later on. I'm on with Rashid at 7 p.m. UK time, so you can catch me on Arsenal Revolution TV later as well. People, like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are gone. Good?